know we had a gag a long time ago with one character who has a really goofy voice that in their fake behind the scenes, they were actually supposed to be a very sophisticated, like, British actor talking about, like, all his method acting. Like, I imagine, like, Among Us would be like that. You'd be like, oh yeah, it's a very complex role. Just had to really get into character with that one. And then it's just cutting the footage of being Among Us. That'd be so funny.
Please do it.
Yeah.
Speaking of voice actors, Avalon here also has done a bunch of characters in Fazbear and Friends in the past. Like, I know Gregory is one of the roles he did the most.
Yep. Gregory, what's her name? Audrey or Aubrey?
Yeah, Audrey, yeah.
I did Sissy Longlegs as well. Only he showed up to one. Yeah. And then I did a lot of the kids, like from like episode 1 all the way up until now. Like any like little kids, I've also like been the voice actor for.
Yeah, and the like Chica is Sick episode, there were a lot of like kid lines that you did.
Yeah,
You completely cut out.
Okay, maybe you work out.
Oh.
Ew, pineapple!
Yeah, that.
Oh my god.
Ça m'a donné le saut.
I'm looking for some other questions. Someone asked, how much of the series will be serialized and how much will be episodic or self-contained? So, the way we're building Season 2 is, I would kind of describe it as like a mix of both. Kind of like when Gravity Falls will start to have like story in it, where each episode can stand on its own and has its own like story and kind of like theming and just like fun stuff in it. But there are story elements that are building through each episode, but it's not like every episode is extremely serialized to the point where like, I guess the episodes themselves start to lack identity. Like they all still have their own gimmick more or less, like, or I guess I won't go into spoilers, but it's kind of a mix of like having a connected story, but each one can still be watched on its own, and you can still fully enjoy it without having all the context. I definitely like to get to the point where we can have some episodes that are just like completely like not related and just like for the sole focus of kind of just being a funny, goofy episode. But early on, there's a lot of like building of the show that we're wanting to do, so they will be like more serialized, like kind of in the beginning. That's not to say they won't be funny, but I definitely would like an episode where there's just like no limits. It'd be just like super. Yeah. Looking for more questions.
Characters.
Someone's asking about like what the timeline is like making this stuff. Do you want to maybe talk really quickly, Andy, about like what the production stages kind of look like? Andy might not be here. Oh, Aaron, Andy's
he's got it. Yeah, so basically, for Fazbear and Friends, we actually don't do animatics. So what we do is we just jump straight into layout after we do the demo audio. So I guess how long are we in like writing for? I guess it's like 3 to 4 weeks of writing and demo audio and whatnot for each one of these upcoming like 4-minute long episodes.
For context, what the demo audio is after the script's written, me and Zachary will just do a dub of the entire episode ourselves without any of the final cast in it. And then we'll send that edit with our voices to, voice actors like Frungy or Jarrett, and then give them that as reference for like delivery and timing, and then just like, have them record over that. Frungy does a much better Chica voice than I do.
No, really?
But you were saying, Andy.
Oh, you're not that bad.
Yeah, so after we have that demo audio in, we do the layout to it, and then once the layout is done, they'll do it in like normally like 1 to 2 minute long blocks basically, and that's like really rough animation. There's really not a whole lot of sometimes there's acting, kind of depends, but nothing's like super smooth and interpolated or anything like that yet. That's also where like the cameras are defined. And then after layout's done, we split that into smaller chunks so that it's easier for animation to kind of tackle it. And then after animation makes it look all pretty and smooth with the movements and whatnot, then it goes into final layout, which is basically cleaning everything up. So sometimes there will be props that are still stand-ins from layout and animation, but modeling would have like modeled them before it gets to final layout. And then it's the final layout artists, Aaron and Gavin and Mar, who go in and they'll replace the temporary props and whatnot with the final props. And then we go to lighting and rendering, which is exactly what that sounds like. It's just adding the lights into the scene. And then I say just, there's a lot more to it than that. And then rendering is where we send it off to basically a million billion computers with Fox Render Farm. They're based in China, and they basically do all of the calculation for all the lights and stuff because it takes a long time to calculate lights. And then we take all those rendered frames and we put it into, well, we were putting it into After Effects and like making it look really pretty. That's where like different effects like the rain was added, as well as just general color grading and any kind of like text on screens, stuff like that, like the chalkboard where it says help, like that's done in After Effects and composited in. So any like finishing touches like that. And then that gets rendered out of After Effects, but we're actually switching to a different program that's a lot better than After Effects, so I think we're all pretty excited about that internally. Yeah. And then after it gets out of After Effects, then it goes into Premiere for the final edit. While we're like going through production, because obviously there's like 5 million stages of production, we have these things that we update periodically called live edits, which is basically just the most up-to-date version of every shot gets added to the live edit so that we can kind of see where we're at progress-wise. So we can watch back the episode and be like, oh, this thing still needs to be done. And so we'll like, make tasks out of that and stuff like that. But without getting into, I guess, the super fine details, that's kind of how our pipeline goes. Those all take various different stages or different amounts of time. Normally it's like 4 to 6 weeks for each part of those, for a 4-minute long episode. For episode 5 it was a little bit longer because it's just,
because the episode was longer.
Yeah, 12 minutes. I think lighting and comp was basically started at the beginning of the year, maybe like a few weeks after, but it's been going up until yesterday, basically.
Yeah, these things take crazy long to make. I see a question that I kind of wanted to answer. Can we see this episode edited with just Micah and Zach's like temp voices from the demo audio?
That's kind of
we could probably put that out. I don't know where we would put it. Like, I don't know if we wanted to make that a Zamination 2 thing, or if we could just post that like on socials. But I think that's something we could do. Like, we haven't really done that before, so that'd be kind of fun to see that. A lot of the lines, since me and Micah do voice some of the final like versions of these characters, some of the lines in the demo are the versions that ended up being used for the final. So it's like kind of a mix. Like a lot of like Freddy and Bonnie's lines are like the same in the demo, but like, obviously like future Freddy and Franji, or not Freddy, Chica, but are not like, it's just me and Micah doing like either a high pitched voice or failing really badly to do a low pitched voice like this. I'm future Freddy.
That was perfect. You didn't even need me. See?
But yeah, it's a lot of fun to do that because I mean, it's also kind of just like good voice acting practice. Like, I know I can't like emulate a lot of these characters perfectly, but even just trying is like kind of fun, good practice. Yeah.
You end up with some other third character that doesn't exist that you can make into a real character later down the line.
Yeah. Someone asked, could Chica and Foxy be a couple? Same with Freddy and Circus Baby. Even if it's impossible, would there be a chance? What do you think? I immediately saw Franji on mute.
I know.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not enthusiastic about that exact same topic. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I will say there's some more there's definitely some more Freddy and Circus Baby interactions in season 2, but take that for what you will, I guess. But Chica and Foxy, I know Franji is obsessed with
I don't know. I was trying to think yesterday, like, why am I obsessed? I actually have these thoughts. But I was thinking, what started it must have been because it's predator and prey, and it's just like my wife does fox hunting, and I'm thinking, and I know a lot of farmers whose chickens get eaten by foxes and coyotes and stuff, and I'm thinking these two would never get along. How do they work in a pizza parlor together? And then my brain just went, it's Romeo and Juliet, it's Montague and Capulet, it's forbidden love, therefore it must happen.
I know when we were working on. Oh, sorry. What were you gonna say?
Oh, I was just gonna say, I'll just let you know, anytime there's layout with, like, Chica and Foxy, like, in the same scene, I usually put them standing next to each other or interacting with each other.
Thank you. I ship it.
On that topic, I was gonna say, while we were working on the part where they realized that they killed everyone for real, we sent Franji the, like, layout for that part. And Chica, like, falls into Foxy's arms, and she just went ballistic.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Made my day.
The scrap. Yeah, so that's been an ongoing thing for the history of Fazbear and Friends. We're getting close on time, so I think we only got, like, maybe 1 or 2 questions left.
Lightning round.
Yeah, someone asked who animated the 2D effects, like the fire burning the meatly.
It's Madeline.
It's Madeline.
Yeah, that was Madeline.
Do you want to talk about the 2D
Madeline right
effects in this video, Madeline?
Yeah.
And maybe some of the Easter eggs you hid.
If you look really closely, you might see a little Among Us hiding in there.
So I'm going on my screen.
I came back to that explosion like 3 times. I think I animated 3 different versions of it.
There it is.
That's amazing. What? That is. I love it.
Whose idea was that? I don't even remember.
No, it was mine.
It's so good.
Sticking Among Us in there.
For all you eagle-eyed
And you
viewers
also
out
did
there.
you also did the meatly burning. Oh, and
Yeah, that one made me sad. He's so cute. Like, something about his puppet is just so cute to me. So watching him like burn to death is so sad.
Here.
I think the fire ended up looking like really nice mixed with like the lighting and comp for the scene.
Yeah. I was surprised how well it blended.
Then you also did more fire.
Yeah, I had to burn Among Us too. Among Us is my favorite character in this episode.
Also, we did get a tiny bit of Funtime Freddy scraps. He's like barely in the background here.
I know.
Where is he?
Was that you, Avalon?
He's like, I think he might even be depth of fielded out.
No, yeah.
Well,
It's just blurred
he
with
also
nothing.
they kill Among Us, but you only see
there
sometimes Freddy's leg. Yes.
Bon is the one
There's our boy.
using the sniper on his hand.
There is a whole subset of the Fazbear and Friends community that is just extremely obsessed with Funtime Freddy and Bon for some reason.
For some reason.
Can you
For some reason.
Can you still see that there's the temp sniper rifle is on top
Oh
of the
yeah,
actual sniper rifle?
it's in a later shot. It's like when they actually shoot them.
Yeah, there's a couple mistakes.
I like animation errors like that, even in
This had relatively little like animation errors in the final though, but as you can probably see, there are 2 snipers clipping through each other, and one of the set of legs is just kind of floating. Because it was before we added the truck in there, but we accidentally like just rendered 2 models on top of each other. The reason we kept it is just because you could only see it on a bright flash for like 1 second. But we have had much worse animation errors than this.
very fine.
Like the freaking when Bendy first shows up in that first short, Alice Angel's dress is literally just floating in the background the entire short.
I want to pull that up.
Oh,
Really quick. That'll be the last thing.
Most people haven't noticed it, but if you actually notice it, you can never like unsee it.
It is like unbelievably. It's not it. Unfortunate. Where is it? I always have such a hard time finding that first Bendy episode. Here it is. That's that one. Yeah, that freaking dress is just floating in the background.
I've never
the entire
noticed
time.
that.
That's been there the whole time.
I've never noticed
It's just
that.
right there.
That's hilarious.
No one ever pointed it out.
That is definitely one of those things you cannot unsee once you know it, though.
Yeah. Uh-oh. It's just there the whole time. It's crazy. Well, only reveal that one so we don't ruin all of Fazbear and Friends. Yeah. There's so many errors like that in Fazbear and Friends over There's been a lot of times where we get tracks from like Audio Jungle, and sometimes like we buy the tracks and just forget to upload the final track into the video, so it'll just go Audio Jungle sometimes in an episode. In the final thing. And I'm like, oh no. Oh no. We made sure not to have that happen for this one. I think. It's like the Springtrap teacher one has a bunch of Audio Jungles in it. Yeah. I think we're at time. We're about time here. So, yeah, thank you everyone for tuning into the Q&A. I hope you enjoyed episode 5, and huge thank you to the team as well for all your hard work over the last, like, almost 7 months. Yeah. It's been a wild ride, and I'm really glad that everyone's been liking it a lot, and I'm excited for everyone to see Fazbear and Friends Season 2, because that's also shaping up to be very, very good, very on par with Episode 5 in terms of quality. So, yeah, very exciting stuff. The future of Zamination is bright, you could say. It sure is. Yeah, and thank you for all the Zamination team joining in on this, and especially you, Jarrett and Franji, taking the time out to join.
Thank you for inviting me up here. It's been great.
Yes, me too. I'm glad I got to. I'm sorry I was late, but I'm glad I got to pop in.
Yeah, no worries. I'm glad you showed up. I was really hoping you'd be able to make it.
I was so hyped to make it. I'm mad I can't be actually up there, but you know, life.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Thank you all again, and I guess we will see you next time. Thank you for joining. Bye-bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
See you all.
I'm gonna go see Foxy.
See you all later, bro.
Among Us.
All right, bye, everyone. Bye.
Goodbye. Among Us.